We would like to bring to you our thinking on the way forward in terms of ecotourism and how to make it a reality in this country. The history of ecotourism is very rich, and I would like to actually remind us that Kenya is the home of ecotourism. So it's a little bit odd and sometimes shocking that we still don't have an ecotourism policy. And as much as we have taken some time to get to this point, we at Ecotourism Kenya believe that it's still not too late for us to reclaim our space. We believe that it's still not too late for us to come in and protect our investors that are already in this space. And we believe also that the formation of this network is extremely timely. We want to thank Business Advocacy Fund, and we want to also thank the KTF for bringing together this kind of a network, because for us it gives us a platform which we would like to use to come to you to get your input into the policy conversation that we are currently having.
We define as ecotourism as travel, responsible travel to community areas. We define ecotourism as responsible travel to local areas that promote the well-being of the local people and also safeguard the environment of the area. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. So why do we need an ecotourism policy? Ecotourism is rapidly growing as a subsector or a sector globally in the tourism industry, and also ecotourism provides an opportunity for products that contribute to environmental conservation and also the social economic well-being of people. If you look at conservancies in Mara or in Laikipia area or group ranches in Amboseli, you discover that most of them they've been able to expand their businesses due to embracing or adopting ecotourism practices. The other reason why we need an ecotourism policy is that it will enable to provide an opportunity or a platform where we'll be able to monitor the growth of ecotourism in Kenya, as currently we don't have any information or statistics or any research that shows that where we are at in terms of ecotourism and how we can move forward in terms of developing enterprises or developing even guidelines that will regulate the growth of this sector. The other reason why is that ecotourism has helped increase tourism spending. We've seen more lodges being developed or being set up in Kenya over the years, and also we've seen local people developing these ecotourism enterprises, and they're different in leaps and bounds. They can be not only lodges, but they can also be interesting outfits such as canopy walks in Ngarindare forest. So they are unique and exciting, or even local kaya forests. So it's not only the normal lodges or hotels that we are accustomed to, but they're different in their own right. Also, as an ecotourist, the consumer of this ecotourism product, we are able to add value. If we have guidelines, if we have policies that can show where these facilities can take, if we have guidelines where ecotourists are able to consume this product, they're able to understand or adhere to those ethos of not polluting the environment or protecting or safeguarding the environment of the area, and also encourage volunteerism amongst students who are able to take up or consume volunteerism as they engage in ecotourism practices. We've seen this in Diani, where we have students come and take up, they usually come and take up in volunteerism activities in Diani, where they have primate conservation. They have colobus monkeys, and they're able to promote ecotourism in that area. I'll invite Edith Vesiri to give a presentation on the future. If we have an ecotourism policy, what it will be able to do to Kenya as an ecotourism destination. Thank you.
When we stand up here and we say that an ecotourism policy needs to be put together, the understanding should be, and the point that we come from is that it actually brings together all the conversations that we are currently having. And it galvanizes a group of people who can actually champion that. And that's what this network is all about, making sure that our tourism products become very well protected and very well guided. Right. Now, the most important thing I'd like to emphasize is that the policy is not about conservation. It's about utilization. It's a business plan. We're looking at the ecotourism policy actually championing the utilization, but the proper and equitable use of the products that we have. The thing we're lacking in Kenya, and what came up very clearly during the International Ecotourism Conference that just ended a couple of weeks ago, is that we don't actually have policies that push the tourism product in a sustainable manner. We have excerpts in different policies that are good, but what actually galvanizes, what actually stratifies how we look at our tourism products? We do it in niches. If a tourism product in a certain circuit is looking at what it has and saying this is for ecotourism, this is for mass tourism, but what is guiding that process? We actually don't have a policy, and that's what the ecotourism policy seeks to address. There's an absence of sound policy and planning, basically. We need to look at all the good aspects within the separate policies and see how we can have connectors. The ecotourism policy simply does this. And it would be looking at, ecotourism is the largest growing sector in the tourism industry. And that's important and that's key. And that is something that Kenya should wake up and say, look, can we take advantage of this?
Thank you all for coming to attend this meeting of the Tourism Network. I especially want to thank the media. We are humbled and very happy by the support that you have been giving tourism and the coverage and reporting on tourism stories in the last few months. We truly appreciate it and we do not take this for granted. I'd like to introduce the Tourism Network, which is now a few months old. The Tourism Network was born out of a realization that with devolution, we needed to change the game plan in regards to advocacy on tourism matters. Traditionally, advocacy on tourism matters was done at a national level because we mainly needed to engage with the Ministry of Tourism and other relevant ministries from Nairobi. And in the counties, when they had any matters that required advocacy, it could be done from Nairobi. But now with county governments, the game has changed. And unfortunately, with the change in how things are done, most of us still don't understand what should happen. And when I say most of us, I mean private sector players and even government officials who are supposed to be in charge of devolution, either at national level or at county level. And we then realize that as private sector, we need to come together and understand how we're going to grow business. It no longer is business as usual. And devolution is a beautiful thing because then now the people in Homa Bay have an opportunity to grow tourism in Homa Bay. What suits Homa Bay County within the attractions that they have and the challenges that they have without relying on Nairobi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel Ukumu, not David. Pardon? Okay. Madam, I've said, Western Circuit have never been tapped. When you think of tourism, most people think of going to Mombasa and Masai Mara. Yet in Western Circuit, we have a lot of virgin sites which have never been tapped at all. We have historical sites, especially in South Nyanza. Along the lake also we have our historical sites, like few which have been now we are trying to map up with CBI. in collaboration with the other stakeholders, whereby upon now, we are really urging the county government and our national government to come up and try and support the regional association which are in the Western Circuit to try and market and make sure that these sites are well marketed, are well being put on itinerary, whereby now you can come up. When you think of coming for a holiday, you don't think of Mombasa. You don't only go to see animals. We have sites whereby if you go, you will not want to come. We have over 69 sites in Western Circuit, all the way from Western Nyanza up to South Nyanza. As Western Circuit ran from all the way from Migori, ran down up to North Rift in Mount Elgon.
My appreciation for BAF to make this happen. I remember the first time me and Clive Davis and Clive and Agatha, we were sitting under a gazebo at Jacaranda discussing what we can do together. And it has become a reality. This is really something which we needed to do long time ago. Mine is changamoto. I want to give you changamoto. I want you to go back with something what I call awakening the giant. And thank you very much for bringing it up. Domestic market. We always cry about if there is insecurity in Kenya, the Wazungus are not coming. There are Wazungus here, but they are blacks and they have money. We need to look at our domestic market.
What we just want to sensitize the county governments is that they must first, before introducing any fees, go back and interrogate why some of these fees were combined. A few years ago, we had serious confusion. You had one hotel and you would end up paying multiple licenses for services inside that particular facility. I'll give you an example. If you had a hotel with 3 restaurants, you needed 3 restaurant licenses. You needed 3 different liquor licenses in trading there. You needed licenses for broadcast and everything. So what happened is that the government came up with this initiative that they called Guillotine Initiative. This was about 10 years ago. And they slashed the licenses to a manageable level, about 50%. Now, what the county governments did, then there were the councils, they came up with a single business permit. So for example, if I wanted to have a swimming pool in this establishment, I would have a swimming pool license. So you have now one permit from the county government that you pay for all the services that you're operating within that particular county. Then you have a few other licenses that you pay, environmental licenses, probably the Ministry of Tourism license and so on and so forth. So the spirit of that whole initiative was to reduce the number of licenses that you pay.
There are no point of view. I can confirm that that is probably the biggest mistake this country has made this year. If you look at the earlier bookings that the operators had, most of them are now grappling with how to retain those bookings in the face of what is looking like cancellations. The new bookings that are supposed to be coming in would be coming in at a price that makes it unsustainable to sell. If you add 16% to all that you are providing, the clients are simply saying, why do I need to come here? Next door is cheaper. We also have a problem that the tax is coming in on contracts already agreed upon but not paid for, because the VAT Act kicks in when you pay or when you invoice. So if you had agreed but you have not been paid, you're in trouble. You have to now renegotiate. So most operators are generally agreed that we are looking at the potential beginning of the demise of Kenya's tourism this year if we are not careful. The numbers, as you saw from the KTB statistics, are already down by about 10%. Last year they were down by about another 10%. Tanzania is reporting a growth of 16%. We are reporting 10% decline every year.